Backyard Baseball 2003 content is back on the channel, and since it's been so long since our last series playthrough of Backyard Baseball, I figure I should just jump into a quick recap to catch everybody up to speed, especially if you're a new viewer. So in our first season playthrough of Backyard Baseball 2003, I took over the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and I basically built a super team. My roster featured Nomar Garciaparra, Ichiro, Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr., Pablo Sanchez, Ahmed and Amir Khan, Keisha Phillips, and Pete Wheeler. We were without a doubt the most overpowered team in the league, and it showed because we finished with a perfect record, 14-0 in the regular season, and went undefeated in the playoffs, finishing with a total combined record of 21-0, the first immaculate season in league history. And so with that level of success, especially with my first year in the league as manager, obviously we won a lot of fans, but we also picked up a lot of haters as well. But no hater was bigger than league commissioner Mr. Clanky. Mr. Clanky has been around for a really long time, and he obviously didn't take too kindly to a newcomer coming into the league and just taking everything over like that. So in the next offseason, Mr. Clanky did something completely unprecedented in the history of the league, and he basically booted me from my own team. So not only were the Tampa Bay Devil Rays heading into the next season with a new manager, but I was now tasked with becoming the manager of a brand new expansion team, the Mighty Monsters, with a roster that was purposefully constructed to screw me over. For those of y'all who don't remember, that Mighty Monsters roster was purposefully built to feature the 9 worst players in the Backyard Baseball 2003 game based on their skill point totals. And that first season with the Monsters, the second overall season in our playthrough, was rough. We lost our first 13 games in a row, including a loss to our former team, the Devil Rays, and the eventual World Series champion, the Junior Bombers. But we miraculously won our last game of the season to finish 1-13 and narrowly avoided the complete disgrace of becoming the first winless team in the history of the Backyard Baseball League. Now, a big reason why we were able to win a game and even remain competitive in some games at all was because of breakout superstar pitcher Thor Herring. You see, Thor Herring cannot hit and he can't run either, but he is very, very good at just one thing, and that's pitching. Discovering Thor Herring as one of the biggest diamonds in the rough, buried deep in the trenches of the Backyard Baseball 2003 game code, was absolutely the highlight of that second season playthrough. As despite the fact that he's only rated a 6 out of 10 at pitching, which is not great, it's just a decent rating, I actually threw as many strikeouts in that season with Thor Herring as I did with Randy Johnson in my first season as Tampa Bay Devil Rays manager. So even though his horrible win-loss record and his inflated ERA due to poor fielding screwed him out of chances of winning Best Pitcher award for that season, I was looking really optimistic heading into next season with Thor Herring remaining as my starting pitcher. And there were more reasons to be optimistic than just keeping Thor on the team, as our 2 lowest rated players, Ivan King and Quentin Driver, quit the team and quit baseball entirely. And plus on top of that, Claire Nelson, who was our backup pitcher that season, decided to leave the team in free agency, which leaves 3 open spots on our roster to fill. And obviously there aren't many players in this league that are worse than any of the players featured on this Monsters team, so no matter who we got to fill in those 3 spots, they're probably going to be at least a small improvement at whatever position they chose. But the offseason following season 2 was yet another offseason filled with massive drama throughout the league. I mentioned that a team called the Junior Bombers went on to win the World Series. This is one of the most stacked hitting teams in the history of the league, featuring players like Jay Green, Leo Wayne, and Julie Dunklin. In fact, after the World Series, the team was investigated for use of performance-enhancing drugs, although despite all suspicions, all the players tested clean. But the Bombers actually took down the Devil Rays in a very tight 3-2 series. So despite the fact that the Devil Rays were assigned a new manager, who was actually Backyard Basketball League color commentator Barry DeJay, and they finished slightly worse in the regular season, finishing with a 10-4 record, the Devil Rays clearly still maintained a lot of their greatness. And a narrow loss in the World Series should have only been a minor setback heading into the next season, but I don't think anybody suspected what would be happening next. During the offseason, it was revealed that Tampa Bay Devil Rays manager Barry DeJay was having an affair with Mr. Clanky's mom. Now, not only are robot-human relationships outlawed in our state, but clearly this was completely out of bounds in terms of moral decorum. Mr. Clanky flew into a fit of rage, which was obviously justified, but he went absolutely nuclear on Barry DeJay and the Devil Rays. Not only was Barry DeJay banned for life from the Backyard Baseball League, but he also had to resign from his job as Backyard Basketball League color commentator. But that wasn't all. Mr. Clanky shut down the Devil Rays entirely. That's right, just 2 seasons removed from having the first immaculate season in the history of the Backyard Baseball League, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays were no more, meaning that all 9 players on the Devil Rays would now be free agents, and there would now be a supplemental emergency draft for the first time in over 20 years. And obviously there was a ton of hype heading into this supplemental draft. Since the 9 former Tampa Bay Devil Rays players are all up for grabs, the worst 9 teams in the league were entered into the lottery. And of course, the Mighty Monsters, my team, having the worst record in the league meant that we had the best odds to secure the number 1 pick, which basically guaranteed our pick of Pablo Sanchez. In the same way that whoever got the number 1 pick in the 2003 NBA draft was guaranteed LeBron James, and how whoever got the number 1 pick in the 2023 NBA draft was guaranteed to land Victor Wembanyama, everyone knew heading into this supplemental draft that whoever secured the number 1 overall pick got Pablo Sanchez. But it shouldn't have come as any surprise that Mr. Clanky would pull some more shenanigans heading into next season, because despite having the best odds to win the number 1 overall pick, being the worst team in the league in terms of win-loss ratio last season, we did not secure the number 1 overall pick in the supplemental draft. We didn't even get the 2nd pick or the 3rd pick. We fell to pick number 4. We got screwed, and the supplemental draft results went as follows. The Kansas City Royals, who finished 3-11 last season, landed the number 1 pick, and so of course, they drafted Pablo Sanchez. The Atlanta Braves, who finished 4-10, drew pick number 2, and they went with Ken Griffey Jr. And the Los Angeles Dodgers, who went 3-11 last season, drew pick number 3, and they decided to go with Pete Wheeler. As I already said, pick number 4 went to us, and I decided to go with a bit of a wild card. I picked Ahmed Khan. Now this might come as a bit of a surprise to y'all, considering that when I played as the Devil Rays, Ahmed Khan was probably not even one of the top 5 players on the team. But I was looking at the remaining players on the board and really trying to assess the Mighty Monsters team needs. And for example, one spot where we actually are secure is pitcher. We have Thor Herring. We don't need another pitcher, so therefore we weren't going to draft Randy Johnson even though he's still available on the board. I wanted a pure power hitter, and Ahmed Khan obviously lands into that category. And it especially helps that we were playing at a stadium like Parks Department 2, which is one of the most shallow fields in the game, so Ahmed Khan could rack up home runs like nobody's business playing at this field. And so with pick number 5, the St. Louis Cardinals drafted Randy Johnson, and he'll probably start for them immediately. The Green Hornets at pick number 6 went with Keisha Phillips. Nomar Garciaparra was drafted by the Detroit Tigers at pick number 7. Ichiro was drafted by the White Sox at pick number 8. And Amir Khan was drafted last at pick number 9 by the San Francisco Giants. So even though we fell to the 4th overall pick despite being the worst team in the league last season, picking up Ahmed was still a massive upgrade for our team. And the immediate post-draft league standings projections had us finishing at about 5-9 or 6-8 or so, with being a long shot wildcard team being the most optimistic projections for us with Ahmed added onto the team. But y'all need to remember that I've quickly become one of the best managers in the Backyard Baseball League for a reason. And I certainly wasn't done with negotiations, let's just say that. You'll see in this team photo that there are 2 question marks, and that's because there are 2 players on our roster that I have yet to reveal. So like I said, Amir Khan was picked with the last pick in the supplemental draft heading to the San Francisco Giants. But remember that Amir Khan loves playing with his older brother, and in fact when he's on the same team as his older brother, he even tries to mimic his older brother's hitting style. And so for the past 2 seasons, obviously Amir has been playing with his older brother on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. So when Amir learned that he'd been drafted by the Giants and would thus be separated from his older brother, he threw a fit. He refused to show up to Giants training camp, refused to sign a contract, and basically pulled an Eli Manning. And he said that he would not play in the Backyard Baseball League in this upcoming season unless he was placed on the same team as his older brother, the Mighty Monsters. And so it took a few negotiations, trading away some future picks and also some cash, but I was able to push the deal through, and Amir Khan is now the newest member of the Mighty Monsters. I got both the Khans. And this is huge because it means we just added another excellent hitter to the team, because as I alluded to just a while ago, and as you would know if you've played Backyard Baseball before, when Amir Khan is placed on the same team as Ahmed Khan, he gets a significant batting boost, and he gets boosted to 10 out of 10 batting to match his older brother's 10 out of 10 batting rating, which means that we have instantly added 2 10 out of 10 batters to this team. But if you think that that's an impressive upgrade, just wait, because we're not done yet. Remember that Pete Wheeler was selected 3rd overall and was heading to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And we all know that Pete Wheeler, despite how much we all love him, is a little out to lunch, shall we say. And this sort of behavior does extend to his family. Remember guys, this is a little league, so it's not as organized as a professional organization. And so no matter what happens during the offseason, all players have to re-register with the Little League and pay a registration fee before the regular season starts. And so naturally, everyone was kind of surprised when Pete Wheeler's name did not show up on the registry at the start of spring training. And it didn't take us very long to find out that Pete Wheeler's parents had basically forgotten to sign him up for next season. And so this is where I came into play. Because Pete Wheeler's parents are so hard to get a hold of because neither of them own a cell phone, the league had to call the emergency contact on Pete Wheeler's prior registration forms, and that name was... guess who? And so I wheeled and dealed a little bit more, sent them some picks and some more cash, which means that we just landed Pete Wheeler to round out the Mighty Monsters roster. Talk about an off-season upgrade. Claire Nelson leaves us in free agency, Ivan King and Quentin Driver quit the league, and we just casually fill the 3 remaining roster spots with the Kahn brothers and Pete Wheeler. These upgrades obviously sent shockwaves throughout the league, and so now our projections have been upgraded not just to long shot wildcard team, but potential division winner favorite. Now I will take the time now to make a brief production note. Since my last season playthrough of Backyard Baseball, I've switched computers, so I wasn't able to carry the identical season file from season 2 over into this new season 3 file, which means that unfortunately some changes have occurred throughout the league. I have learned how to mod the game in some ways, such as setting custom lineups and changing all of the custom team colors and names. That stuff's pretty easy to figure out. But when it comes to stuff like schedules, assigning home fields, and even replacing entire pro teams, that's stuff that's still very complicated and very difficult for me to do. So you will see that there have been some changes in division structure, and some of the pro teams from the last season of Backyard Baseball have been replaced with different teams. And we'll briefly go through some of the more relevant teams that have changed their names. So remember, like I said, Pablo Sanchez was drafted by the Kansas City Royals, but they are now the Cleveland Indians. And Ichiro was drafted by the White Sox, but they are now the Twins. And so this is just an unfortunate byproduct of, again, me having to change computers and not being that great at modding the game. Now, obviously, with all this shrewd wheeling and dealing and these massive upgrades we made to the Mighty Monsters roster, Mr. Clanky, for whatever reason, is still really pissed at us. I don't even know what I did to the guy, but he just really hates me for some reason. Now, if you remember last season, our one win was against our division rivals, the Oakland Athletics. And Mr. Clanky was so upset that we won even just one game against a division rival that he decided to change our division, and so now we've moved to the AL Central. But wait, it gets even more ridiculous. Mr. Clanky also determines the regular season schedules for every team ahead of the season, and he decided to pull a fast one on us by assigning all of our divisional games at the very start of the season. And this could have crucial playoff implications, because if we do poorly in divisional play, our playoff chances and the entire outcome of our season might be decided before the season's even half over. But wait, it gets even better, because we're in the AL Central with the Tigers, the Twins, and the Indians. All 3 of those teams drafted former Devil Rays players. The Tigers got Nomar Garciaparra, the Twins got Ichiro, and the Indians got Pablo Sanchez. So yes, that means we will be playing either Nomar, Ichiro, or Pablo in all of our first 6 games of the season. Mr. Clanky knows how to mess with us. So truth be told, I can't even really give an honest prediction as to how this season will go. We've upgraded so much talent, but with our really tough division schedule, I don't think anybody can give an accurate assessment as to how the Mighty Monsters will do this season. But I guess that leaves us with nothing to do other than jumping into this first game of the regular season and getting it all started. Also, just show really quickly here that the gameplay settings have not changed since the last season. As usual, all games will be 6 innings on hard difficulty, which is the maximum difficulty in this game. Swing spot and pitch locator are both off and errors are on. Our first game of the season is going to be on the road at Ekman Acres visiting the Detroit Tigers. And if y'all watched last season, you'll remember that we had a pretty brutal loss here. We also have no boosts or nerfs aside from Amir Khan's usual boost that he receives when playing on the same team as Ahmed. For the Detroit Tigers, obviously Nomar Garciaparra has slotted in as their new starting shortstop. Stuart Sullivan, their starting catcher, and their leadoff batter is also insanely fast, and they don't really have any big boosts or nerfs to report. Nomar Garciaparra has a small decrease to his pitching stats, but that probably is not going to matter anyway. And so without further ado, let's get this season started. Mighty Monsters versus the Detroit Tigers, opening game and opening of division play. Pete Wheeler is going to be facing off against Esther French. We're going to put him on line drive power, and of course the strategy with Pete Wheeler is going to be just get him on base and steal. This is a deep fly out to the center fielder. It's probably going to get caught, but it's dropped, and Pete Wheeler looks like he's going to make it to second off the air. Hey, I'm not going to complain about that. Victoria Schamberg is coming up next, and her only role is to get Pete to third. That's why we're going to have him stealing. So even if Victoria grounds out here, as long as we get Pete to third, that'll be okay. So that's a decently hit ball, and yeah, Pete's going to get to third because he led off, and Victoria's going to be out, but that's okay. Here comes Cameron Haynes with an RBI opportunity already, and as long as he gives us a decent grounder, he could score Pete very quickly. And Cameron Haynes is really digging in, fouling off a lot of balls, but that's a high inside pitch, and Cameron Haynes unfortunately strikes out. That was a decent AB, but I would have preferred a single to score Pete. And here comes our supplemental draft pick, Ahmed Khan, with 2 outs and a lot of pressure on him already. We're going to switch him to line drive power because I want to secure a hit more than I want to secure a dinger, and I don't want to risk flying out while Pete's on third. So here's the pitch, and that is a grounder up the third baseline. Pete Wheeler is sprinting home. The third baseman has some trouble with it, but Pete Wheeler is going to score, and Ahmed is safe at first. That's our first run of the season. And here comes little brother Amir with 2 outs. Let's see what he can do. We're going to have Ahmed leading off in case Esther French throws a ball so he can steal. But that is a well-hit ball, and did Amir just send that out? I think so. Bobby Higginson's at the fence, and that's a 2-run shot to start off the season for Amir Khan. Let's go. Let me tell you, it's a very weird feeling to be playing with the Mighty Monsters, starting off a game with a 3-0 lead, but I'm not complaining. I think we actually never scored more than 3 runs in a game in the entirety of last season. So here's Heidi Thurman at the plate with 2 outs. She does have some sneaky power, but she is really slow, so she's probably just going to ground out here. And there's the pitch, and that's going to be a soft infield fly. And yeah, she's going to get thrown out. But all in all, very successful inning to start off. Pete and the Cons did their thing, and we're up 3-0 very quickly. So one thing that I'm going to be looking for on defense this season is our opponent's bunting, because they know that Thor is very slow. And one thing that the CPU loves to do to cheese you is bunt if you have a slow pitcher. And see, just like I said, Stuart Sullivan decides to bunt it, but that is right to Thor, and we're actually going to throw him out. That's out number 1. And here comes Bobby Higginson, and he might actually do the same thing because he's got good speed too. And yep, just like I said, Bobby Higgins tries to bunt it, but that's also right to Thor. But Thor is just fast enough, and his throw is just good enough. And that's 2 outs on just 2 pitches for Thor Herring. So hey, if the rest of the game is this efficient, we might have an easy win here. And that is a pop fly from Parker Collum. Can Cameron Haynes, last year's errors leader, make this play? And he does. Wow, okay, so that's 3 very quick outs. And that's probably one of the easiest innings that Thor Herring has ever had while pitching. It's a new feeling playing from in front, but I don't mind it at all. And that's a low and inside pitch. Nice from Esther French, and that's going to strike out Dana, unfortunately. And Thor Herring decides to swing at the first pitch. Let's be real, he probably just wants to get it over with so he can go to pitch again. And with these last few batters like Thor and Wayne, unfortunately, they're almost always going to be automatic outs unless we have power-ups. And Wayne Pittman also swings on the first pitch, but that actually... Well, if Wayne was a faster player, that would actually be a decent base hit, but of course he is going to get thrown out, and that was a very quick inning for the Detroit Tigers on defense. And here comes Sally Dobbs, who's usually a pretty easy batter to strike out, but she does have very sneaky power. So we do have to be careful with her and make sure to pitch around the corners. So here's Thor's signature slow ball, high and inside, and Sally Dobbs is late on that one, and that's the first strikeout of the season for Thor Herring. And here comes Nomar Garciaparra, ready for his first at-bat with the Tigers, and it says that he has a boost, so I'm not really sure what that is. So I hope it's not one of those secret hidden steroid power batting boosts. But we have worked him to an 0-2 count, so we're going to try and go in the high and outside corner here, but he lifts that into shallow center field. Ahmed's going to have to make this play, and he does. He fell all over himself, but he did make that catch. It wasn't pretty, but he got the out. Now Tatiana Jackson is up here to try and make sure that the Tigers don't get shut out for 2 innings in a row. And Tatiana Jackson also goes to the bunt strategy, but Thor Herring is right there, and he's going to flip it to Amir for the very easy out. So we pitched 2 shutout innings in a row. And best of all, we're actually back at the top of our order, so Pete Wheeler's up again to do even more damage. That's a good looking pitch. Pete Wheeler rips that. And is that a dinger on line drive power? It is. Pete Wheeler homers. And just like that, we're up 4-0. What even is this team now? Well, this is a very satisfying way to start out this season. Victoria Schamberg does ground it out right to Nomar Garciaparra, but I don't even care. I'm riding this high right now. Like I said, I don't think we ever scored more than 3 runs in a game for the entirety of last season, so I think we've already set a new regular season record for this franchise. Cameron Haynes has a soft fly ball into the infield. Nomar Garciaparra is under that one. So Ahmed Khan is back up again with a 2-out situation. Here's a windup from Esther French that pitches low and outside, and Ahmed Khan sends that one out of here. Are you kidding me? What an incredible debut from our new additions. And the Detroit Tigers had to be shocked. Ahmed Khan sends that one 498 feet. I can guarantee the Tigers were not expecting to be down 5-0 at the top of the 3rd inning. And Esmeralda Hyman now comes in. They got rid of Esther French because she was getting dunked on. But the party potentially isn't even over yet, as Amir Khan has already hit a dinger today, and he's back up to bat. And for the first time since the end of last regular season, we've got some optimism in this Monsters organization. Amir Khan does ground out there, though, and that throw is going to be made. Yep, so that's going to end the inning, but that does extend our lead to 5 runs. And if things continue like this for us on offense, then Thor Herring's going to have a really easy day ahead of him. But that's going to be a hit to shallow left field, and I don't think Heidi or Victoria is going to have the speed to get there. No, and that's going to fall in, so nice hit. And Chrissy Mulligan smacks that right to Thor, and oh man, that could have been ripe for a double play ball, but he falls over, so he's going to flip it to Cameron Haynes. We do get the out at second at least. But with Esmeralda Hyman up, we actually do have another double play chance right here. We're going to keep pitching away with her. This time we got her with a slow ball, and she's just going to watch that go by, so no double play, but Thor Herring does get his second strikeout of the game. Now we're back up to the top of the order with Stuart Sullivan, and we got to watch out for this kid, remember, because he's got some great speed. And yep, he bunts it right there, and we might not be able to make any sort of play on this. Thor Herring flips it behind him to Dana Sekula for the out at second base. Nice play. And once again, we leave an inning allowing no runs. And Heidi Thurman's doing a good job digging in here, fouling off a lot of balls and driving up Esmeralda's pitch count. And so Heidi Thurman does get a grounder right there. And, you know, if she was a faster player, if she was Pete Wheeler, that would be a base hit. But unfortunately, it's not going to be there. Sally Dobbs does drop it, but yeah, that's an out. Dana Sekula has some nice contact there, but that is right to Nomar Garciaparra, and he catches that. But the reason why driving up pitch count is so important is because if the opposing pitchers lose stamina, they get more and more inaccurate with their pitches. Thor Herring smacks that right up the middle, and dude, if he wasn't 1 out of 10 on speed, that would probably be a base hit. Can he get there? And he will not. That'll be the 3rd out to end the inning. But as I was saying, I keep getting interrupted. The reason why it's so important to drive up your opponent's pitch count is because if they lose stamina and they have to keep cycling through pitchers, all of their players will end up getting low on stamina. Speaking of stamina, Thor Herring's stamina is already getting kind of low, so I hope to get a juice box power up soon. But Bobby Higginson hits a soft fly ball. Is Amir there? Yes, he is, and that's an out. And Parker McCollum is way ahead of that one. 3rd strikeout of the game for Thor Herring. And there it is, the more juice power-up. So overpowered, especially with a player as good as Thor. High and inside pitch, and that gets called a strike. 2nd strikeout of the game for Sally Dobbs. 4th overall for Thor Herring. And that's going to end the inning 4 zeros in a row. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Mighty Monsters might genuinely just cruise to an easy victory here. And that is a weak grounder from Wayne Pittman. Had to swing at that one. And look how slow he is. Sally Dobbs is going to beat him in a foot race back to first base. And Pete Wheeler smacks that one up the middle. That's going to be an easy base hit. And you already know we're going to steal with Pete Wheeler. We're going to send him to 3rd too. And he is going to make it to 3rd. Oh, yeah. Wow. I thought they're going to get him out there, but he actually made it. So Pete Wheeler's already in scoring position. Can Victoria Schamberg pick up an easy RBI here? That's going to be a ball. And here's the full count pitch from Esmeralda. And Victoria Schamberg whiffs on that one. That's tough. So here comes Cameron Haynes, and I really don't want to leave Pete stranded. And that was a good-looking pitch and a good-looking hit right to 3rd base. Look at how that was placed, and Pete Wheeler is going to get to home, obviously, and Cameron Haynes is safe. That's a good RBI single from Cameron Haynes. So once again, 2 outs, and Ahmed Khan comes up to the plate with a chance to extend our lead even further. And there is no way you just gave Ahmed Khan a slow ball. Are you serious? The center fielder heads out to the fence, and that's going to be a 2-home-run game for Ahmed Khan. Are you serious? Not only are we leading our division rivals, but we're blowing them out at this point. And there's a soft fly ball from Amir Khan, and that will land. And the 3rd baseman, barely makes the throw in time, and that is going to end the inning. But that was some great hitting from Cameron and Ahmed Khan back-to-back, and we extend our lead to 8 runs. That's going to be a grounder from Nomar Garciaparra right to Cameron Haynes, and can he get it out? Yes, nice play from our starting shortstop. There we go. All we got to do is avoid a complete and total collapse on defense, and we'll actually walk away with a very easy win. Tatiana Jackson puts that down right in front of Wayne Pittman. Nice throw, easy 2nd out. And Esther French, soft fly ball right to Cameron Haynes, but he misses that. That's his first big mess up of the game, and she'll actually get to 1st. And Chrissy Mulligan strikes out. She whiffs on that one. That's the 5th strikeout of the game for Thor Herring. Heidi Thurman puts that one on the ground, and their 3rd baseman should get that one. Pretty easy out right here. And that is a pop fly right in front of Stuart Sullivan, and he makes the easy catch. So now Thor Herring is up with 2 outs, our last offensive chance of the game. That's a well-placed inside pitch. Thor Herring strikes out on 4 pitches, and so the Detroit Tigers really have to rally here if they want any chance of coming back in this game. And that's an outside pitch. Thor Herring gets his 6th strikeout of the game. Stuart Sullivan pops it up to Cameron Haynes. Can he make this play? No, of course he drops it now, of all times. And Cameron Haynes, can he throw it to Dana? No, and she drops it. Stuart's heading to 3rd. Dana, can she make the throw in time? No. Wow, we actually managed to get the out at 3rd somehow, but that was just ridiculous. That was a nice reminder that most of our players are still awful at baseball. Here's a 2-strike pitch high and inside. Bobby Higginson rips that one out to Dana, and she nearly made a good play on it. So Bobby Higginson is safe at 1st with 2 outs, and Parker Collum is the last hope for the Detroit Tigers. And that is popped up right in front of Wayne Pittman. Can he make this play? He does. And that's going to end the game. The Mighty Monsters win our first game of the season by a score of 8-0. I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm absolutely shocked. We just shut out a team featuring Nomar Garciaparra and Bobby Higginson. So let's take a look at the stats on the game. Pete Wheeler in his debut performance with the Mighty Monsters, 3 for 3, a single, a double off an error, and an outside the park home run. Cameron Haynes was 1 for 3 with an RBI that scored Pete. Ahmed Khan in his debut performance was 3 for 3, including 2 dingers, and Amir Khan was 1 for 3 with a dinger of his own. And as for pitching, Thor Herring only allowed 4 hits, and a couple of those were off errors, remember? He threw 59 pitches, 51 strikes, and 8 balls, and had 6 strikeouts. And it was kind of a surreal feeling playing with Thor Herring and the Mighty Monsters and not having to rely entirely on Thor's clutch pitching abilities to secure a win. I think that literally might have been the least stressful pitching performance of Thor Herring's career, and we're heading into week 2 with a lot of momentum. And so now we're ready to get into our second game of the regular season, and it's going to be a tough one coming up here. Because for one thing, Pete Wheeler does have a small nerf to his batting stat, but primarily because we are facing off against the Cleveland Indians, who now feature Pablo Sanchez. Thankfully, Horace Young, who is one of the other better hitters on this Indians team, has a massive nerf today to both his batting and running stats. And on paper, this Indians team is still not really any better than decent, but having Pablo on their team is definitely a big help. But let's hope he can show out for our home fans in our first home game of the season. That's a low and outside curveball, and Carlos Beltran whiffs on it. Strikeout for Thor Herring. Courtney Valentino is probably the second best player on this team. That's a pop-up for her. And can Thor or Dana get this? And neither of them do. That's just going to land, and Courtney's just going to take second. So already off to a horrible start fielding. She's actually heading to third, and she's just going to get a triple off that error. After playing such an efficient game on defense last week, it really sucks to start out a game like that, and it does not help that Pablo Sanchez is now up to bat. And that's going to be a pop-up to Cameron Haynes, and it's crucial that he catches this one, and he just misses that. Are you kidding me? And this is already a 1-0 game. And Pablo's going to head to third now. Horrible throw from Cameron Haynes. Dana throws it to Thor, and can we get Pablo out at home? We do, so at least we get an out, but come on, man. That's just a completely undeserved run for the Cleveland Indians, and we just can't be making mistakes like that on defense, especially not with all these improvements we've made over the offseason. Alexis Weiss rips that one out to Victoria, and she's not in position, so this is going to be an actual base hit this time, and she's going to get to second easily. So runner on second for Daniel Willis with 2 outs, and we're going to try left hook low and inside, and he rips that one to Dana Sakula, and she catches it. So thankfully we only allow 1 run out of that, but that's still not a very encouraging start for us on defense. Okay, so Pete Wheeler's up with the batting nerf that I already discussed. I think he's down to a 5 out of 10 at batting, but that's going to be a single. Pitcher Chris Milton decided to just dive on that one for some reason instead of just picking it up and throwing it. So that gives Pete Wheeler a chance to steal, and he's going to take second easily, and that's a bad throw by the catcher, and Pete Wheeler might just take third too, because why not? So that's pretty nice. Pete Wheeler is already on third with no outs, and Victoria Shamper can easily get an RBI here. But that's a nice pitch from Chris Milton to the outside, and Victoria just watched that one go by. All right, here's Cameron Haynes. Let's see what he can do, and he gets that past the pitcher, and Pete Wheeler is not going to be able to make it home. Cameron Haynes did make it to first, so we've got runners at the corners with 1 out. But here comes Ahmed Khan. We're going to have Cameron Haynes lead off here. And that is a pitch down the middle, and Ahmed Khan is going to make this a 3-1 contest just like that. And now Amir's at the plate, and you know he wants to do the same thing. He wants to follow in his big brother's footsteps. Here's a curveball, but that is just a pop-up, and Chris Milton is going to drop that, so Amir's going to get a free single. Here comes Heidi Thurman, but I actually am worried about a double play here because she is so slow, so if she doesn't place this in a very good spot, this could be a double play very easily, and that will give him a power-up. And that is right up the middle, and oh no, like I just said, that's right to their shortstop. She tags up at second, flips it to Pablo Sanchez, and yep, that's a double play. Are you kidding me? Just like I predicted. So sure, we have a 3-1 lead, but we just gave him a power-up. So even though we did pretty well on offense in that inning, I'm actually not optimistic heading forward. Horace Young lifts this pitch out to Ahmed, and he's just gonna drop that. Are you kidding me, Ahmed? Come on. Well, he didn't exactly drop that, but he let it drop right in front of him, didn't make the catch. And if you've played this game enough, you know that the CPU doesn't like to use power-up pitches until they have runners on base, and so unfortunately they have one, so they might use it here. And yep, that is going to be a crazy bunt, and thankfully that one just dies in the infield, so as far as crazy bunts go, that one was pretty easy to deal with. But that does leave us with 2 runners on base with no outs so far. So Thor's got to come in clutch in this situation for sure, but that's going to be another power bunt. Are you serious? Yeah, I'm not going to lie, this one could get pretty bad pretty quickly. That's out to Pete Wheeler. He's going to throw this one in, but it's going to score at least 1 run. Nice throw, so it gets the out at second. No, it doesn't. Are you serious? How did Dana not make the tag? And Dana just throws it into the dirt trying to throw it back to Thor. So Thor's going to throw it home to Wayne. And okay, the runner's going to go back to third. So we get the out at third. So at least we get an out. But what the heck was that? Oh, wait, hold on a second. Okay, well, we just got a free double play because for some reason, the batter just decided to take third even though Heidi Thurman was there. All right, well, I'm not complaining. Thanks to the stupid base running AI that you can always rely on, we have our own power up now. We're going to pitch it to the outside with Terry Vega, but he lifts that into center right field, and Ahmed Khan is going to drop that, but Pete Wheeler thankfully gets it on the tip drill, and that's going to end the inning. So I'll be honest, we handled the back-to-back crazy bunts pretty well, only allowing 1 run, and we also turned a double play thanks to the stupid base running AI, so honestly, could have been a lot worse. And it's a screaming line drive power-up, so with these low fences here at Parks Department 2, sometimes those can become automatic home runs, so that's a good power-up to have. Oh, and that's a low pitch, and Dana just strikes out on that one. So good pitching from Chris Milton there to get that first out. And Thor Herring lifts this one right to Pablo, but he catches that one. So out number 2 very quickly. Yeah, Wayne might as well just swing on the first pitch. That's right to their shortstop, and she catches it, so we put up a 0 in that inning, unfortunately. The Indians are back at the top of their order with Carlos Beltran, and hopefully we strike him out again here. And he puts that one on the ground, and that will go foul. Wow, that was actually nearly a pretty excellent hit, all things considered. And honestly, out of all the pro players, I fear Carlos Beltran the least. And that's going to be strike 3. So Thor Herring gets his second strikeout of the game, both of them on Carlos Beltran. Here comes Courtney Valentino. She's already given us a few headaches, and that's going to be a bunt, but it's foul, thankfully. And she takes that outside pitch, goes right to Thor, but he dives and misses it. And unfortunately, Dana's throw will not be in time, so Courtney Valentino is on first, and she's a big threat to steal. And also, Pablo Sanchez is coming up to bat, and he could give the Indians the lead instantly. Pablo Sanchez does give us a grounder down the third baseline, and Heidi Thurman should have had that one. Come on, Heidi. And she throws it to Dana, and what's going on, guys? And Cameron's throw is not going to be home in time. Wow, so Pablo's going to get to third. Run for the Indians. Guys, I don't know what the heck I was doing, I'll be honest with you. Trying to bait the CPU's base running AI did not work to our advantage there, and so now we've got a tie game. But Alexis Weiss pops up right in front of Wayne Pittman, and that's going to be out number 2. And Pablo's trying for home, but he does retreat to third base, so no double play here. And Daniel Willis rips that one out to Pete Wheeler. Pete's got to make this throw in, and he will barely make it in time. Wow, thankfully we got that out because Pablo did cross home plate, but it does not count because we got the out. But I'll be honest, I'm not satisfied that's a tie game here. So hopefully Pete Wheeler in the top of our lineup can get us some more runs. Pete Wheeler smacks that one out to the second baseman, and he makes a bad play on it, so Pete Wheeler is safe on first. And obviously we're going to steal second base with Pete Wheeler. It's a strike high in the zone, and Pete Wheeler gets to second easily. Victoria Schamberg lifts that one, and that is going to be missed by both Pablo and the second baseman, and so Pete Wheeler is going to get to third. And you know what? Let's just try home. That's a bad throw in. The third baseman has a dive on that one. Pete Wheeler gets to home safely, and we take the lead back. I don't think it's going to be time to bring out the screaming line drive until the bottom of our lineup with all of our weaker hitters. And that's going to be a dribbler in front of the catcher for Cameron Haynes. Hopefully this isn't a double play. No, and actually the throw will not be in time to second base. So both Victoria and Cameron are safe. And here comes Ahmed Khan with a chance to extend our lead even further. No outs so far. And that's going to be a corkscrew pitch, and it's outside of the strike zone. So Ahmed gets walked on 5 pitches. We've got the bases loaded with no outs for Amir Khan. I think now is definitely the right time to use the screaming line drive power up. Screaming line drive right up the middle into center field for Amir Khan. This is going to score at least 1. We're going to send Cameron home, and I think he will make it, so that's going to put us up 6-3. Obviously, I had to use the screaming line drive there to capitalize off the bases loaded situation. And we've got another one, so Heidi Thurman can keep this power-up train going. And it's a corkscrew pitch, and we get the screaming line drive off the power-up pitch. Come on, Chris Milton, you got to be smarter than that. Ahmed will be heading home. Pablo misses the play at first, so Heidi Thurman will be safe. RBI single, and we're up 7-3. I love that sound, and we've got another power-up coming our way. Well, there's not a new batting power-up, but maybe it was just more screaming line drive swings. We'll have to see. Sometimes the CPU actually does screw you out of your power-ups on rare occasions. And Courtney Valentino comes in for Chris Milton. He was definitely falling apart towards the end there. And Dana Sakula sends another screaming line drive right up the middle. Amir is definitely going to score easily. Okay, Heidi Thurman holds at second. Dana Sakula gets an RBI single, and we're up 8-3. And yep, I think that extra power-up did give us more screaming line drive swings because now Thor Herring's got a chance to get one. Oh, but that's a swing and a miss. Oh, thankfully we still have one. Yeah, so we definitely got some extra screaming line drive swings. And Thor Herring rips that one into right field. They came in for him. So we're going to, I guess, have the bases loaded yet again. So the bases are once again loaded with no outs. I'm not really sure how to navigate this one because Wayne Pittman's up to bat, and he could easily get us into a double play. Oh, and that's a grounder, a soft grounder. Can we please get someone on base? And that's a bad throw from the catcher. Okay, thank you. So we only get 1 out there. I'm going to need Pete Wheeler to give us a really good hit here because I do not want him to hit into a double play. With all these slow runners loading the bases, this is a very dangerous situation for us. Okay, and Pete Wheeler gives us a soft fly to their second baseman, and he drops it. Dana might be able to make it home, actually. Yep, Carlos Beltran's going to go for second. He makes the tag, but Dana Sakula does score, so it's an RBI single for Pete Wheeler, and we avoid getting a double play turned on us again. So that was pretty much best case scenario right there. That's in the strike zone, so Victoria Schamberg has to swing for it. Oh, the second baseman doesn't make the play, but he is going to flip it to Pablo, so that's the third out. And guys, I can't believe this, but we're leading 9-3. We've already beaten our previous single-game scoring record. And this game isn't even half over, honestly, so we could score even more runs before this is all over. Horace Young gives us a nice hit, but it's right to Amir, first out. And that pitch is low and outside. Chris Milton swings for it. Third strikeout of the game for Thor Herring. And Samantha Winslow gives us a soft grounder. Thor Herring scoops that one up. Easy throw to Amir. Easiest inning of the game so far. Nice to finally put up a 0 after so many mistakes on defense previously. And this is a good AB from Cameron Haynes so far. We're hoping to drive up Courtney Valentino's pitch count. A lot of foul balls so far. Okay, now that's like 5 foul balls in a row, so Cameron's making Courtney work for it. And finally, Cameron Haynes puts it into play, and he actually might be able to make it to first. So after all of that, Cameron Haynes is safe. That's honestly the best AB of the year for any of our players so far. That's a good-looking pitch, but it is a grounder, and hopefully this does not turn into a double play, and the second baseman makes a play at second, but Ahmed is safe on first. Okay, Amir's up. Hopefully he can drive in some more runs for us. But that's going to be a soft grounder as well, and that is going to be an out at second. So once again, it is a fielder's choice, and just like that, Heidi Thurman is up trying to drive in a run, but we've got 2 outs. Okay, that's a good-looking pitch. Heidi Thurman, well, that's decent contact for her. Courtney Valentino does drop it, but she's going to be able to pick it back up, flip it to Pablo easily. And we don't put up any runs in that inning, and considering that that was the heart of our order, that is pretty disappointing. But hopefully Thor can continue his excellent performance so far, and we can prevent the Indians from scoring more runs. Terry Vega decides to bunt that, but he is not fast enough for that strategy, and Thor Herring gets the out easily. Okay, it's the start of the order again for the Indians. Carlos Beltran is back up, and let's see if we can get a 3rd strikeout on this guy. And after 2 foul balls, that's 2 strikes. Let's see if we can get our 3rd strikeout of the day on Beltran. And yep, he swings and misses on that one. So 3 strikeouts on 3 at-bats for Carlos Beltran. Thor Herring has definitely been picking on him all day. We got to do something about Courtney Valentino, though, because she's been a problem all day. And she smacks that one, putting it into play, but Dana fields it, flips it to Amir, 3 outs just like that. And we head into the bottom of the 5th, maintaining our 9-3 lead. Oh, but Dana just pops that one up in front of the catcher. That's going to be an easy out. And Thor Herring pops that pitch up. Courtney Valentino will not be able to make that play. We got some commotion between her and the second baseman. Flips it to Pablo, and he drops it. Pablo, as always, is actually a liability on defense. And so Thor Herring is safe on first, but we got to be careful here because Wayne Pittman's up, and he could easily hit us into a double play. But Wayne Pittman actually hits it past the coverage. That's an excellent hit for Wayne Pittman. And he and Thor are both going to be safe, so nice hit from Wayne Pittman. So now Pete Wheeler has the responsibility of trying to avoid hitting into a double play. And that is a fly out to center field. Carlos Beltran gets in position, and he drops it. Man, Carlos Beltran is not having a good day. And I think all of our runners are going to be safe. So once again, bases loaded. Okay, Victoria, we need you to be safe here, not hit into a double play. Oh, but that is a fly ball right in front of the catcher. Pablo flips it to the catcher, but she actually drops it, and she's going to beat Thor home. So that is going to be out number 2, but we avoid getting a double play turned on us yet again. Also, I just realized this, but Cameron Haynes is 3 for 3 today. And Cameron Haynes hits that right to Courtney Valentino. She's going to get the easy out at home right here, so that is going to end the inning. So no runs there, but we are still up by 6. Okay, Pablo Sanchez is one of the last hopes for the Indians here. He decides to bunt, and are we going to get him out? I think we actually might. Yep. Right to Amir, out number 1. Okay, we dispatched Pablo pretty easily there, so that leaves us with Alexis Weiss. 0-2 pitch. Alexis Weiss gives us a grounder, and Thor Herring is in position. He dives on that one, though, and will he make the throw in time? He will. And Daniel Willis is the last chance for the Indians to get back in this one. High and inside pitch. Daniel Willis swings on it. Grounder to Cameron Haynes. He dives on it. Will he make the throw? No, he won't. Horrible throw. But Daniel Willis keeps running, and Cameron Haynes is right there. So the momentum from Cameron's bad throw actually led him right into the path of Daniel Willis as he was running to second base. And so thanks to the good old CPU base running AI, we actually close out the game. 9-3 victory for the Mighty Monsters. We are now 2-0 on the season. And I can't believe we just easily dispatched a team featuring Pablo Sanchez. So as crazy as it is, we are starting off this season 2-0. We've already eclipsed our win total from last season. Not like you could get much worse than 1-13 anyways, but I am happy that we secured that second victory, because if we went 1-13 back-to-back seasons, even with all of these talent upgrades, I'd be very disappointed. So here are the batting stats on the day. A 4-for-4 day for Pete Wheeler. Cameron Haynes actually had a pretty good day, going 3-for-4. Ahmed Khan went 2-for-2, including a home run and 3 RBIs. I think he actually got walked too, which is why it says he only had 2 at-bats. Amir Khan was 3-for-3 with 3 singles and 2 RBI. And in fact, thanks to the Screaming Line Drive power-up train, everybody got on base at least once from the plate. Now, our defense was definitely suspect at the very beginning of this game, so it's not like it was a totally stress-free game for Thor Herring, but he is definitely still having a much easier time through these first 2 games than he had at any point last season, as he only had to throw 49 pitches, 46 strikes, and 3 balls, 4 strikeouts to secure the win for us there. And let me tell you, it's a blessing not having to rely solely on Thor's pitching while we're on defense. Now I'm back for the second day of the recording. We're about to hop into our third game of the regular season, this time against our third and last divisional opponent. And right now I'm checking to see if we have any boosts or nerfs heading into this game, and unfortunately Pete Wheeler does have nerfs to both his hitting and his fielding. And this is really going to suck because our opponent is probably the best we've faced so far. And I'm talking about the Minnesota Twins, who are probably the most stacked team in our division. For one thing, their shortstop Stan Olafson is having a massive boost today. But remember, this team drafted Ichiro in the supplemental draft. And in addition to Ichiro, they have Frank Thomas and Jay Green, who is a free agent signing from the Bombers. So yeah, this team is absolutely loaded, and Thor Herring is going to have to pitch his butt off if we're going to stand a chance in this game. And Francis Bluer is going to try the bunt cheese strategy to start off, and that's actually going to work for her. It really sucks that that is Thor's kryptonite. Ichiro surprisingly doesn't even have a hit on the season yet. Francis Bluer is going to steal, and she is going to get there successfully. But that is going to be a grounder right to Dana Sakula, and she dives, and nope, she's not going to make the throw in time. So we got runners at the corners, no outs. And now Jay Green is up to bat, so this is a potentially very bad start for us on defense. And Jay Green decides to bunt, but that is up in the air, and Wayne Pittman makes the throw, but Ichiro, we're not going to be able to make that throw back to Amir in time. I wanted to get Ichiro on the double play because I knew he was going to steal, but unfortunately that just left the door wide open for Francis Bluer. So just like that, we are down 1-0, and we've only got one out. And Stan Olafson is up to bat, and he's really fast as well, so he's probably going to bunt. I'm going to try an outside curveball here, but that is a bunt, and Ichiro's going to get to second easily, and nope, I don't think we're going to get anybody out here. Ichiro's going to try for third as well, and nothing we can even do about that. Amir doesn't even react. Thor Herring is just going to have to go back to the mound, and we once again have runners at the corners. Okay, 2 strikes, and Ichiro just decides to steal home. So that's going to be the easiest out Wayne Pittman has had as catcher so far this season. You think that Ichiro would make smarter decisions than that, but I guess not. And we strike out Maynard McElroy. So hey, we got those last 2 outs pretty quickly, actually. And considering all the talent they had at the top of their order, that actually could have gone a lot worse. Okay, so Pete Wheeler is leading off as usual, but we will see how his nerf to his batting impacts his gameplay. The one thing I will say about Jay Green is that even though he's a 9 out of 10 at pitching, he does lose stamina pretty fast. And that is going to be a pop fly for Pete Wheeler, but that's probably going to be an out. It really does always kneecap us in offense when Pete Wheeler doesn't get a hit. But that is a hittable pitch. Victoria Schamberg hits that nicely. That takes a turn of the dirt, but their shortstop will be able to complete the throw. Wow, nice throw to Frank Thomas. And that one is hit softly by Cameron Haynes, and I probably shouldn't have gone for that one because Jay Green is going to scoop it up and make the throw easily. So our first 3 were retired very quickly. Frank Thomas also doesn't have a hit so far this season, so we're going to go low and outside, and he's going to swing way ahead of that one, and he's still hitless on the season. High and inside pitch, and Jack Joseph just watches that one go by, so hopefully Thor Herring can get into the zone here. And that is a softly hit grounder on the first pitch from Lena, and that just bounces past Thor Herring. Horrible play on the ball by him, and that's just going to be a single. Oh, bad throw by Dana, and she's going to head to second, and Wayne just can't get it there in time, so she just gets a free double. Are you kidding me? With all of our offensive success so far this season, it's really been easy to overlook just how incompetent some of these players are, and Jim Kiley rips that one. Are you serious? Thor Herring just gave up his first home run of the season, and yikes, we are already down 3-0 just like that. And out of all the great hitters on this Twins team, I was not expecting to give up a home run to Jim Kiley of all players. Francis Bluer hits a pop fly there, and can Cameron Haynes please make this play? And he does, thankfully. But wow, we are down 3-0 just like that. We've got to dig ourselves out of this hole. But thankfully, the Khan brothers are both up next, so hopefully you can cut into this lead just a little bit. And that's a good-looking pitch, and Ahmed Khan remains perfect on the year. Are you serious, Jay Green? He just threw a changeup right into the perfect part of the zone, and Ahmed lifts that one over the fence, no problem. So that does make me feel a little bit better. We are now down just 3-1. And Amir Khan lifts that one. Will that be out? I'm not sure. It had a little too much height on it, and it's going to be at the warning track, basically. Nope, unfortunately, pop fly. I said that as if there's an actual warning track on this park, which there isn't. Heidi Thurman is holding fast at the plate. She's already worked it to a full count, so this is good because we'll cut into Jay's stamina just a little bit, and that is going to be ball 4. So, wow, Heidi Thurman digs in and gets a walk. But that does bring Dana up to the plate, and so unfortunately, we are at risk for a double play here. And now Dana has worked it to a 2-2 count, so this is a solid A-B as well. Jay with a windup, but that's going to look inside, and wow, well-placed pitch that froze me. Strike 3, but thankfully we actually do avoid a double play there, so that wasn't the worst thing in the world. But that does bring us to Thor Herring, so honestly, we're probably just going to have to reload next inning. But Thor Herring does get it to a 3-1 count, so maybe Thor Herring can draw a walk here. And that pitch looks high, and it is. Thor Herring has now drawn a walk, which leaves Wayne Pittman with the responsibility of driving these 2 runners home. Gets a 1-2 count, and that is in the strike zone. Nicely hit ball from Wayne Pittman, but that is caught by the second baseman. So there are 2 upsides to that inning. One, Ahmed Khan did get a solo shot, and we also did drive up Jay Green's pitch count, so hopefully that affected his stamina a bit. And of course, he is going to bunt, but we actually might be able to make this play, and we do. Okay, easy out for us. And Jay Green just hits that right to Thor as well. Okay, Another easy out, and that was on the first pitch as well. 2 very quick outs for us, but Stan Olafson is really fast. We have to watch out for him. And Stan Olafson hits that outside pitch out to Ahmed. Can at least Ahmed or Victoria make this play? And no, Victoria falls on it, but this is really going to be an inside the park home run, is it? Are you guys freaking serious, man? I can't even talk right now. But Thor strikes out Maynard McElroy with that inside pitch, and so not the worst inning of the game so far for us on defense, but they did extend their lead back to 3. And wow, that was a high and inside looping curveball, and Jay Green strikes out Pete Wheeler, sending him back to the dugout for the 2nd time today. Victoria Schamberg goes for on the first pitch, and that is just right to Frank Thomas. Horribly placed hit, and that's going to be an easy out number 2. It is incredible just how much our offense slumps if Pete Wheeler doesn't get on base, because his speed on the base path is such an X factor. He's always a threat to steal no matter what. And Cameron Haynes, that is a grounder, and you know what? He actually might be able to make it to first here. That's a bad throw from Jay Green, and wow, Cameron actually makes it. So that's an infield single and a nice hit from Cameron Haynes, and here's Ahmed. So with one swing of the bat, Ahmed Khan could turn this to a 4-3 game. And wow, we've worked it to a 3-0 count already. Jay actually would be smart to walk Ahmed Khan here, but that was a strike. And that's a frozen pitch, and wow, so Ahmed Khan gets walked on 5 pitches. I'm not sure if Jay was trying to do that, but he did. And now it's up to Amir to try and make things interesting. A home run here would immediately tie the game up. And it's a hittable ball, but Amir pops that up in front of the catcher. Are you kidding me, man? That is disappointing. And wow, that was a great chance there to score some more runs, but we wasted it. And Frank Thomas puts that one in play. And Heidi Thurman, why are you running the opposite direction? Are you serious? I swear the baseball IQ of some of our players is below freezing temperature. Outside pitch to Jack Joseph. He pops that one up. Wayne makes the catch, but the throw to Frank Thomas is just not going to be in time. Pardon me, the throw to try and get Frank Thomas out is not in time. That would have been a double play chance, but that just wasn't a good throw. And Lena, hold on a second. Cameron Haynes picks it up, throws it to Dana, and Dana hesitates on the throw. That was a perfect chance for a double play. Come on, man. If Dana just didn't hesitate there, that would have been an easy double play, and we'd have a power-up. That's a strike, and Lena is going to steal, and she's going to make it easily. Here's an inside pitch. Jim Kiley hits a pop-up, and Amir is going to catch it. Okay, thankfully, we don't allow any runs there. But I'm starting to get a little bit worried because this is the worst part of our batting order here, and we're still down 4-1. Okay, Heidi Thurman puts that in the air on the first pitch, and that's just going to be an easy out to Frank Thomas. And Dana Sekula pops that up, and that's just going to be right to Frank Thomas, easy out. And Thor Herring is going to pop that one up. The reason I'm swinging on these first pitches is because I know that these players aren't going to generate runs anyway, so it's like, why not? And yep, easy throw to Frank Thomas, 3 quick outs just like that. This has been a very rough game for us on offense so far, and so Thor Herring's pitching might have to dig us out of this hole. And Francis Bluer is going to hit a grounder there, but no one's going to be there in time. We're just so slow. Ichiro's probably going to try to bunt here. No, he actually hits a line drive. Hold on a second. Dana make the throw, and it's not there in time. Oh, it is. Now, that is great news. I called it like she didn't make the play because I thought it was going to be late, but no, the ump actually gave us the out there. And so we do have a power-up coming our way, so that alone might have just saved the game for us. And Jay Green hits a big pop fly out to Victoria. Can she make this play to end the inning? Victoria, just what am I even supposed to do there, man? A routine fly ball turns into a ground rule double for Jay Green. That is smacked up the middle by Stan Olafson. Can Ahmed make a play? And he does. Okay, thankfully somebody in the outfield wants to make plays. So Wayne Pittman is now up to bat, and we have an undergrounder at our disposal. We're just going to try and get rid of Wayne Pittman as quickly as possible. That's a light grounder, going to be an easy play at first base. Okay, and now the serious comeback effort starts. Here comes Pete Wheeler. So here's the pitch from Jay Green, and that is a grounder on the ground for Pete Wheeler, and yep, going to be an easy single. So now we're going to try to steal second and maybe even third. So hopefully I'll be able to save the undergrounder until it's absolutely necessary. Okay, Pete Wheeler's going to steal second here. And that's just a bad swing and a miss from Victoria. And just like that, we have 2 outs. Yikes. Now I have to use the undergrounder. Okay, that's underground for Cameron Haynes. Pete Wheeler's going to come home easily, and that's going to be a ground rule double for Cameron Haynes. And wow, that was a one-use undergrounder. Okay, the game just is screwing us over here, so hopefully Ahmed Khan can make this interesting. That is a grounder, though, and that's just going to be a single. Amir is 0 for 2 on the day so far, but we need a huge hit from him here. And Jay Green is finally done for the day. Here comes Frank Thomas. We all know he's 10 out of 10 at pitching for some reason. So here's his first pitch, and that is going to be a line drive from Amir Khan. What a clutch hit. That takes a turn in the dirt. This is going to score at least Cameron. Cameron trips, though, and he's coming home. Are you serious, Cameron? Come on now. Okay, that's going to score at least 1 run. Oh, Amir's almost caught it second, so thankfully he makes it all the way back to first. And this is tense. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. We are only down by 1 run. I need Ahmed to come home at least. And that's a low and inside strike. Amir is going to steal. And yes, Ahmed is going to steal home. The double steal strategy worked. I can't believe they fell for it. The catcher literally threw the ball as Ahmed was heading home towards him. But hey, I'm not going to complain about that. Heidi Thurman hits a trickler of a grounder, and that's probably going to be an easy play at first, but at least we tied the game up. That was some clutch hitting from Amir right there. And if we hold the Twins here, we will have 1 inning left to try and seal the deal. Slow ball high and inside, and we have now struck out Maynard McElroy for the 3rd time today. So that is 1 quick out. Now we have an 0-2 count on Frank Thomas. Oh, but that is a great hit ball. Almost out of here. Victoria will make the play. Okay, thank you. She finally makes a play in the outfield. We're only 1 out away from getting a last chance to score some runs. Jack Joseph hits that in front of Wayne Pittman, and he makes the throw. So that's going to end the offense for the Twins in regulation, and we have a chance here to seal the deal with a walk-off win. Although, unfortunately, this is the very depths of our batting order, so we might have to deal with an extra inning situation here. Oh, this is hittable, and no, Dana Sakula misses it. I think that was in the strike zone, so that was worth going for, but that really sucks. Because a hit off a power-up pitch would have given us a power-up and basically guaranteed a win. And Thor Herring just hits that right to Frank Thomas. So easy second out, and it's up to Wayne Pittman to try and extend this game and give us a walk-off win, but that is going to be a pop-up, and Frank Thomas will get the 3rd out, and so that's extra innings, free baseball for y'all at home. And Lena hits that, and that's right to Thor. Can Thor make the play? He does, out number 1. Here comes Jim Kiley, who's already homered off Thor once today. It's now a 1-2 count. Going to try an outside slow ball here, and that is going to be a nicely hit grounder right to Cameron Haynes. Can he make this play? Amir, why did you run off the bag? That was a guaranteed 2nd out. I hate it when the players do that. I still have yet to hear a valid explanation as to why your players do that, why your first baseman will just run off first base. Sometimes it makes no sense. Cameron actually made a nice play there. That should have been the 2nd out. And Francis Bluer hits a pop fly, and can Wayne make the throw? It's not there in time. That was nearly a double play. And that double play would have ended the inning and given us a power-up, basically guaranteeing us a win. Ichiro hits a pop fly, and Dana's going to have to get it. And will she be fast enough? No. She does stop the ball, though, so thankfully Ichiro's going to have to hold it first. But oh boy, here comes Jay Green. But that is a grounder from Jay Green. Can Dana make the play? No, that's just past her. And wow, my base is loaded. No! Cameron Haynes. And now Stan Olafson puts that ball into play, and this is just going to score a run. Are you serious? Make the throw. And yes, okay, we got the out at second. The Twins don't score a run, but that was just way closer than it should have been. And we have the top of our order with a chance to walk off for the win. But Pete Wheeler hits a soft fly ball, and this is going to be an out. Come on, man. Just a 1-for-4 day from Pete Wheeler, and the fact that he hasn't hit well has definitely affected our offense. And that's just going to be a light grounder for Victoria Schamberg right to Frank Thomas. It's like half of our hits today have just gone right to him. And Cameron Haynes takes that up the 3rd baseline. You know what? This actually might be a hit. That throw is not in time. So Cameron Haynes with a very clutch hit there. And here comes Ahmed Khan. If he gives us a home run here or even just an RBI, that will end the game. Oh, but that is a pop fly. That was probably too high in the zone. Why did I go for that? And wow, that's just going to end the inning. I can't believe we blew that opportunity. And it's still a 4-4 game. Okay, Maynard McElroy has already struck out 3 times today, so we're going for the golden sombrero on him. That's a 1-2 count. Going to try and left hook high and inside. And Maynard McElroy swings and misses. That is strikeout number 4 from Maynard McElroy. 4 of Thor's 6 strikeouts have come against him today. And that's a quick strikeout on Frank Thomas. So Thor's now up to 7 on the day, and he's heating up at just the right time. 2-2 count here. Going to try a high and inside pitch, and Jack Joseph strikes out 3 straight strikeouts for Thor Herring in that inning. He retired the side. And that was the best inning of this season so far for Thor Herring. Come on, Amir. With 1 swing of the bat, you could end this game. We need you to end this game and give us a walk-off win. Oh, but that is a grounder, and Frank Thomas is going to let that go by him, actually, so Amir is going to be safe on first. But with Heidi, Dana, and Thor coming up after him, I just don't know who's going to get Amir all the way around the bases. We are going to have Amir steal, so hopefully he can get to second. And okay, so Amir is now on second with no outs, so we could get him around the bases. All we need is a few decently placed line drives to get that to happen. Oh, and that is not a decently placed line drive. That's just a grounder right to Frank Thomas. I swear, he's just always in the right position. Okay, Dana gives us a grounder that dies in the infield. Oh, and that is just... I was hoping I could bait Amir because Amir was right in the path of the shortstop corralling the ball, but he smartly decided to just throw it to first. So now it's Thor Herring with 2 outs and our last chance to bring Amir home, basically. And that is just a light pop fly right to Frank Thomas. And man, we had Amir on second base with no outs and still left him stranded. And so Lena hits it right to Thor. And no, that hits him, but will he be able to make this play? He will. Okay, quick first out. We got to get rid of Jim Kiley, though. He's been a problem all day. And that's another grounder. Can Thor make this play? He does. No, he drops it again. Can he make this? No, it just bounces too far away from him. So Jim Kiley gets a free single off the error. And Jim Kiley's going to steal. Can we get it there in time? Are you serious? How is that not an out? Okay, this is potentially really, really bad. They got a runner on second. And wow, he's going to make it to third. No, actually, he won't. Okay, we were able to stop him there, so we prevented him from getting to third, and that is now 2 outs. That is ripped by Ichiro. Can Pete get there? And he does. Nice play by Pete in right field. And that takes us to the bottom of the 9th, and the top of our order is coming up after Wayne Pittman. Just going to swing on the first pitch with Wayne Pittman. That's actually a nicely hit ball, but that goes right to the third baseman, and she is going to make that play. Wayne Pittman might actually be a decent player if he just had more speed. And we need to get Pete Wheeler on base. He's been having a horrible day. That is just going to be a pop fly right to Ichiro. Are you serious, man? This has just been a horrible day for Pete Wheeler to have a slump. And now we got 2 outs, and Victoria Schamberg has to keep us alive. And Victoria Schamberg hits that just right to the first baseman. You literally could not place it any worse than that. And we are heading into the top of the 10th inning. We had some tense games last year, but none of them even came close to this. But the crazy thing is, I feel like we should have won this game several times by now. But no, Jay Green just... You've got to be kidding me. Thor Herring was having such an excellent performance in extra innings until that point. Stan Olafson hits that to Cameron Haynes, and he doesn't field it. Come on, man. And he throws it late, and that's just going to be an out. Wow. Wow, I think the ump gave us a favorable tag there. And Maynard McElroy has been struck out 4 times today, but he's getting a 5th chance here. He puts that on the ground there, and that's just going to be a base hit for him. Wow. You know Maynard has to feel really good about that one. And he's going to steal, actually, and wow, we're not going to make it there in time. And Frank Thomas just cracks that one. That is not quite out here, but Victoria cannot get over there in time, and a runner's going to be on third. No, she threw it to Cameron Haynes. He just let it go by him. So now we're down 2 runs just like that. And Jack Joseph with a fly ball, and Victoria once again will not get there in time. Are you serious? That ball fell on the line and then bounced out of bounds, and they counted that as a ground rule double. So now we got runners at second and third with only 1 out. And Thor's now crossed over 100 pitches. 1 and 2 count here to Lena, and she will strike out. Okay, very clutch right there. But Jim Kiley is up. He's been a nuisance all day. Pop fly there. Pete Wheeler, I need you to catch this. Please catch this. And he just... And wow, that's going to score 2. The collapse is on. Full-blown collapse at the worst time. Francis Bluer rips that up the middle. And Cameron Haynes runs in the opposite direction. What are you doing, bro? Achman fields that and throws it into Dana. And that is... How is that not an out? How is that not an out? Are you serious? So now we have to compete against the Twins and the umps, apparently. And Ichiro rips a line drive right there, and Dana just makes a horrible play on the ball. This is going to score another run, and this is just horrible, man. Not only have the Twins broken the stalemate, but they're pulling away now. They're just pouring it on. And Jay Green with the grounder there. Can Wayne Pittman make this play? And he will. Okay, and the top of our order now is to pour on 5 runs somehow to keep us alive in this one. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm so disappointed. I don't think we're going to be able to get it done. We just chose the worst possible time to collapse on defense. And Cameron Haynes strikes out. That wasn't even in the strike zone, but I'm just getting desperate here. And here's the pitch to Ahmed Khan. That is a nicely hit grounder. They backed up so far from him, so this throw probably won't be in time. And oh my gosh, are you serious? That was a laser from their shortstop, and now we're down 2 outs already, so just 1 out to go before the Twins send us packing. Amir, though, rips that one, and that could be a solo shot. It will be, just barely clear the fence. Well, that is going to make it 9-5, but that's just way too little, way too late, because there is just no way that the bottom of our batting order is going to be able to put up 4 runs to keep the game tied without the assistance of power-ups, which we of course don't have. So Heidi Thurman grounds it out to the shortstop. It's going to be out number 3, and wow, that is it. So a very disappointing home loss for us against the Twins. And we'll be having our second game against them in a couple weeks, and if they play us like that again, we might be screwed out of a potential playoff spot before the season is even half over. So here are the stats from the game. Pete Wheeler was just 1 for 5 with a batting decrease, and that really screwed us because we couldn't even get going on offense. Cameron Haynes was 3 for 5. Ahmed Khan did have a solo shot, and Amir Khan had a solo shot as well very late in the game, but it was just too little too late at that point. And all in all, we were just 9 for 39 from the plate, so a very disappointing performance. As far as pitching is concerned, that was probably the most stressful performance for Thor Herring ever. 108 pitches thrown, 9 strikeouts, but he did allow 9 runs, including a couple dingers. Although, truth be told, some of those runs definitely were not his responsibility. We just completely melted down on defense late in the game. Cameron Haynes and Dana Sakula and Victoria Schamberg had no freaking clue what they were doing, letting routine fly balls turn into hits. And I'm worried because that game just perfectly demonstrated all of our weaknesses, but we just have to move on and prepare for the next game. And the biggest boost of the data report is Heidi Thurman, who's boosted up to 5 batting, 5 running, and 5 fielding, so that's a huge boost for her. And we are playing the Tigers again, and Nomar Garciaparra does have a slight decrease to his fielding. So here's a look at the current division standings. The Twins are 3-0, we are 2-1, the Indians are 1-2, and the Tigers are winless, surprisingly. So like I've said before, we are starting off our season playing only our divisional rivals, and if the Twins remain undefeated in divisional play, they will basically lock up the division before the season's even half over. So not only do we have to beat them the next time we see them, we have to go undefeated against our division rivals and also hope that one of them beats them. But honestly, we just got to focus on today's game. We are pushed in because I know that Stuart Sullivan's going to go for the bunt for sure. It's an inside pitch and he swings for it normally and he just strikes out. 5 pitches, Stuart Sullivan goes down. And Bobby Higginson, that's a grounder right to Thor Herring, but he muffs it and he's just not going to make the throw in time. Are you kidding me, man? Thor, you are not the one who should be making errors on defense. You're the only reliable arm we have aside from Heidi Thurman. And of course, Bobby Higginson is going to go for the steal and Wayne Pittman just throws that into the dirt. Are you serious? And that's a swing and a miss from Parker Collins, so 2 strikeouts very quickly for Thor Herring. Outside pitch, and that is going to be looked at and missed by Sally Dobbs, so she strikes out. Thor Herring, 12 pitches and 3 strikeouts in that inning. Good job. Pete Wheeler comes up, and we need a much better game from him than we got last week. He was just 1 for 5 in that game thanks to his decrease. So thankfully his batting rating today and all of his other ratings are normal as well. That's a good looking pitch there, and that is smacked to Nomar Garciaparra, but Pete will probably get there in time. Yes, he will. So Pete is on first, and you know that means we're going to steal. And that is a hit right up the middle for Victoria Schamberg, and we actually successfully bait them. Nomar threw it to third. So Pete gets back to second, and Victoria is now on first. We got 2 runners aboard and no outs. And Cameron Haynes, that's actually pretty optimal because we won't get a double play this way. Horrible throw from the catcher, and so Cameron's going to be safe. And we have the bases loaded with no outs. It's a great chance here for Ahmed to get his first grand slam of the season. And Ahmed has worked it to a full count here. Here is the pitch from Esther French, and she actually walks in a run, so that's surprising. But I suppose the strategy there was that it's better to let in 1 run on a walk than Ahmed Khan hitting a grand slam. But that does mean that Amir now has a chance to hit a grand slam. And he hits this foul, and that might be just out of reach for the third baseman. No, she makes a great catch. Wow, so that's actually out number 1. And here comes Heidi Thurman. Let's see how her batting boost shapes up. And that is a grounder, and Victoria Schamberg might make it home. We got some commotion between the catcher and the pitcher, and Victoria Schamberg scores. That's an RBI single for Heidi Thurman. Base is still loaded with Dana Sakula up, so now we do have to be very worried about potentially hitting into a double play. Although Dana hits a nicely hit ball there. That is right to the left fielder, though, and he drops it. So actually, Dana will be safe. Cameron Haynes will score, and the bases are still loaded. Only 1 out still. So far, this is going as well as it could go, aside from actually getting a grand slam. And here's Thor Herring, and that is a grounder. Can Ahmed come home? And he actually will be safe, so that is good. Although, no way. Oh boy, no, that just undid all of our good progress there. Because sure, we are up 3-0, but they just got a power-up off that double play. And as we know, a good batting power-up can erase a deficit like that immediately. Somehow, Nomar Garciaparra is still hitless through 3 games. Although that is a rocket right up there. It goes to Ahmed, and that's just going to be a single for Nomar Garciaparra, so he gets his first hit of the season off us. And Tatiana Jackson swings and misses there, so that's going to be strikeout number 4 for Thor Herring today already. Esther French, the pitcher, has a grounder right to Thor Herring. Could this be a double play? Nomar is out. And Dana... Oh no, Amir. I was so stressed out and worried about Dana missing that throw that I didn't even see that Amir actually picked it up and tagged out Esther French. So now we got a double play. You just never know what could happen when the Monsters are playing defense. And that's a screaming line drive. So hey, you know, we have a power-up to match theirs. That looks like it's going to be in the strike zone. So Wayne Pittman has the swing on this one. That's a light fly ball. And look how fast their catcher is. Just flips that to Sally Dobbs. Out number 1. And that is a nicely hit ball from Pete Wheeler, although that's right to the right fielder. He drops it, though, and Pete Wheeler might be able to make it to second, actually. And he's going to. Wow, so a double for Pete Wheeler off the error. Pete at second is always a threat to score. And that is going to be ball 4. Wow, that nearly could have been called the other way, but Victoria Schamberg does get walked. Great AB there. And I don't know, guys, do you think I should be using the screaming line drive right now? I think it might just be a little too early in the game to use it. Because remember, the Tigers do have their own power-up as well, so they could build a lead, and I don't want to have no power power-ups in case that happens. And that is an offering from Esther French. That's a grounder from Cameron Haynes. And can we avoid a double play here? Actually, I think we will, because she just throws it to third for some reason. Pete Wheeler's just going to trot home. Are you serious? I don't know what the heck the pitcher was doing. She was just better off not even throwing it there. But then again, Ahmed's coming up next. So that's going to be an RBI single for Cameron Haynes. And here comes Ahmed Khan. And Ahmed Khan does hit that. First hit of the day for him. And Cameron Haynes is going to be thrown out at second, but runners are at the corners now. That's ball one, and Ahmed is going to steal. And Amir rips that one up the middle, and that it might not have the distance. Wow, so no, she actually drops it. That would have ended the inning right there, but instead Victoria Schamberger is going to come home. And you know what will send Ahmed to? No, he won't get there in time, but Amir Khan gets an RBI single off the error. And here comes Heidi Thurman with her batting boost. Hopefully she can get us another base hit here. Amir is leading off to steal. So Amir does get to second. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Grounder for Heidi Thurman up the third baseline. We're going to try and bait him, sending Ahmed home. And they throw it home, of course. And Ahmed is going to be safe back at third. So Heidi Thurman does reach base. And the bases are loaded with 2 outs for Dana Segula. But you know what? I think we're already going to bring out the screaming line drive. Might as well use it now. Normally I don't like using it this early, but we have all these runners aboard. And I just swung. Okay, thank God we have another one. Imagine if that had been a one-time use screaming line drive and I just wasted it there. And Esther French is done for the day already. Here comes Sally Dobbs. And when we already have a 5-0 lead, I'm not too worried about using the screaming line drive this early, but we got to get all these runners off base. So here comes Dana, and that's ripped into right field. So Ahmed is going to score, and I think we can get Amir home too as well. So that's going to give us a 7-0 lead, and we're not done just yet. We still have the screaming line drive, and you know what? Might as well keep using it, because if we can build a double-digit lead potentially, it doesn't matter how many power-ups the Tigers have. Thor Herring rips that into right field. But like I was saying, it doesn't matter how many power-ups the Detroit Tigers have. If we have a double-digit lead or something like that, they won't be able to come back. And okay, so we're up 8-0, so that's a pretty decent use of all of our screaming line drive power-ups. And that's just going to be a trickler from Wayne Pittman, although I'm not too disappointed there. Sally Dobbs is going to throw it to third to get the last out. But we did score 5 runs there, and so we already have a massive lead early in this one. Christy Mulligan puts down a dribbler, and Wayne Pittman should be able to make this play. Yes, he flips it to Amir, first out. Here comes Esmeralda Hyman, who is also hitless on the season. So there's some pretty poor batters on this Tigers team. That's a pop-up, and will Wayne Pittman be able to make this catch? He actually won't, but he will make this throw not quite in time. So Esmeralda gets credit for her first hit of the season against us, bringing our defense in because we know that Stuart Sullivan loves to bunt. Oh, and it's a crazy bunt. Oh, come on. And that one looks like it will go all the way out. Oh, actually, you know what? That one stopped pretty early. That could have been a lot worse. And we're actually going to get Stuart Sullivan out because he tried going to third. So yeah, we allowed no runs, and we also got an out. That could have gone way worse. But they do have a runner on third. Here's the offering from Thor Herring. Low and outside, and Bobby Higginson does hit it. So unfortunately, they will score a run here. Although that one actually died very quickly. So 2 fairly weak crazy bunts from the Detroit Tigers. They only score 1 run off that. Oh, they have a third crazy bunt though. And this one, oh wow, this one's much better. It's flying around, zipping around up in the air, goes all the way out to center field. So Ahmed's going to chase after that one. This could score their second run of the game. And the runner's going to head to third. Dana throws it to Heidi. Can we make the play? I don't know if we will. She does have the speed boost, and she actually will make the play. Okay, that wasn't as bad as it could have been. It's unlikely that they'll have more than 3 crazy bunt swings. So truth be told, we might have only allowed 2 runs off that crazy bunt. And so if that's the case, they've already exhausted all their crazy bunts. We might have some pretty smooth sailing for the rest of this game. And that's a good looking pitch. Pete Wheeler smacks that. That's going to go into shallow left field, and Pete Wheeler's going to have an easy single. And you know what? Let's just go to second, because why not? Sally Dobbs fumbles it, and Pete Wheeler is safe on second base. You just got to love Pete Wheeler for that broken speed stat he has. He is truly one of the biggest X factors in this game, maybe even more so than Pablo Sanchez. It's a pitch right up the middle for Victoria Schamberg, and Pete Wheeler will go for third. Yep, got a bait Nomar Garcia-Parra, and so Victoria Schamberg is safe on first. So we've got 2 runners aboard for Cameron Haynes, and look at his batting average, 6.42 on the season already. So Cameron Haynes hits that down the third baseline, and Nomar does not make a good play on that. So Pete's going to be safe on third, and Cameron Haynes gets credit for his 3rd hit of the game. And runners are at the corners for Ahmed Khan. Oh, that's a good-looking pitch. What are you doing, Sally Dobbs? A fastball up the middle? Are you kidding me? That's a 3-run shot for Ahmed Khan. He is racking up the home runs early in this season, and he's just blown this game wide open. 461 feet. And Sally Dobbs gets thrown out after throwing just 9 pitches. Holy cow, that's got to be one of the fastest exits we've ever seen. And Amir sends that one out to center left field. Will she catch this? And she won't. So Amir gets another hit off the error. He's going to head to second. Heidi Thurman is 2 for 2 today with the batting boost, so you know she wants to continue her success. Here's the pitch from Hyman. And Heidi Thurman has a grounder right to Nomar. Amir baits him, so Nomar throws it to third, and Heidi Thurman is going to be safe on first for her third hit of the game. Dana Sakula also 2 for 2 today. We've just been having a great game from the plate. Dana works it to a full count. Here's the pitch from Esmeralda, and that is going to be a grounder right to Nomar Garcia-Parra. Oh no, and yep, that's just going to be out number 2. But we do avoid getting a double play turn on us, so I guess that's one upside. But here comes Thor Herring with 2 outs and 2 runners aboard. And I think we're just going to swing, and whatever happens, happens. Well, that's a decently hit ball for Thor Herring, and that will... Oh, Nomar will actually drop that. And Thor Herring gets a hit off the error from Nomar Garcia-Parra. That's a sentence I never would have imagined myself saying. We're just going to swing here, pop, fly. Can Nomar make the play? He does, so that finally ends the inning, but we put up a lot of runs there. And we've got an 0-2 count on Sally Dobbs. Going to try and go high and outside, and whoa, Sally Dobbs just took us yard. Okay, like I said, man, people just keep on underrating her power. And I'm not going to lie, that one's pretty embarrassing. So that home run from Sally Dobbs makes it 11-3. 0-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss from Nomar Garcia-Parra, and his season just keeps getting worse. Pitch to Tatiana Jackson, and she swings. It's going to be a little grounder, and she actually might make it to first. Yeah, hits like that are just always out of reach for Wayne Pittman and Thor Herring because they're just both so slow. And Esther French has a nicely hit ball there, right to Amir, though, so he's going to be able to tag first. That's a bunt for Chrissy Mulligan, and Thor Herring will be able to make this play, though, so there's out number 3. It's a good-looking pitch there, and Pete Wheeler smacks it up the middle into center field. Going to be an easy single. No, actually, the center fielder dives and misses it, so Pete's going to get to second. And actually, you know what? Let's just go to third, because why not? So that will be a triple for Pete Wheeler. And here's Victoria Schamberg with a potentially very easy RBI opportunity. And she hits that grounder right to Sally Dobbs, but Sally Dobbs is going to tag up first, so Pete Wheeler just comes home. So a very quick and easy sacrifice ground out there for Victoria Schamberg, and we're up 12-3. And that pitch is right up the middle. Cameron Haynes just puts that down right in front of the catcher, but that's not a great throw, and Cameron Haynes just beats the first baseman back to the bag. That's his 4th hit of the game. So Cameron Haynes is going to have a super inflated batting average after this game. It's a good-looking pitch there, but that is going to be just a grounder for Ahmed Khan. They moved back so far for him, and I think he and Cameron will both be safe. Okay, hittable pitch for Amir Khan, but that's also just a grounder. So Cameron's going to be thrown out at third, but then Ahmed and Amir are both safe. Heidi Thurman 3 for 3 today, so lots of great hitting performances on the day so far. She wants to continue her streak as well. And that's a hittable pitch right there. Heidi Thurman sends it right up the middle, but that'll probably be an easy out at second base. Unfortunately, it is, so that will end our inning. And Esmeralda Hyman just watches that one go by for some reason, so easy strikeout for Thor Herring. 2-2 count here. Let's go with the left hook high and inside, and Stuart Sullivan swings and misses. Another strikeout for Thor Herring. That's his 7th on the day. Low and inside, and he's way ahead of that one, so Thor Herring retires the side. 8 strikeouts on the game so far, and we maintain our 12-3 lead heading into the bottom of the 5th. Dana Sakula 3 for 3 today, one of the best hitting performances of her career so far. 1-0 pitch, let's go for it, and well, that is probably going to end now because that was just right to the first baseman. This also is hittable. Thor Herring lifts that one up, and Nomar does catch that one, so 2 outs. It's a pitch up the middle to Wayne Pittman, but that's just a dribbler right to Sally Dobbs. Going to be an easy out here. So unsurprisingly, the Detroit Tigers dispatch the bottom of our lineup pretty quickly. But if we can make it through the Tigers lineup here, we will end this game with a 12-3 victory. And that's a pop-up for Parker Collum. And can Thor Herring get in position? Please make this catch, and he does. Sally Dobbs rips that one that goes right to Dana, and she, of course, can't make the play. Yet another should have been routine play for Dana Sakula that she botches. Inside pitch to Nomar Garcia-Parra. He pops that one up. Come on, Dana, make this play at least. Dana, and she just runs past it. What is going on with Dana Sakula? Pete throws it to Cameron, so Cameron does get Nomar out, and he actually, wow, that was a pretty good throw to Heidi Thurman, but unfortunately she just didn't make the tag. So a near double play. I think that actually should have been a double play. So there is a runner at third with 2 outs, and it's up to Tatiana Jackson to bring Sally Dobbs home. 1-2 pitch, Tatiana Jackson with the grounder. Can Dana make this play and redeem herself? She throws it to Amir, 3rd out. Let's go. 12-3 victory for the Monsters over the Tigers. It feels so weird to not only be winning games, but to be beating up on some teams now. And unfortunately, the Twins did beat the Indians, so they remain undefeated in division play. And here are the stats on the game. Pete Wheeler was 4 for 4. Cameron Haynes also 4 for 4. Ahmed Khan 3 for 3 with a dinger. Amir Khan 3 for 4. Heidi Thurman 3 for 4. Dana Sakula 3 for 4. Our only batter to not reach base was Wayne Pittman. Pitching-wise, pretty easy day for Thor Herring aside from the one dinger he gave up to Sally Dobbs. He had 8 strikeouts on 66 pitches. So as you can see, the Twins are 4-0. We're 3-1, and the Tigers are winless. And so let's check in on the Indians and their batting stats. Pablo Sanchez is batting .416 on the season with only 1 home run though. So now let's check in on some of the league leaders. As you can see, Ahmed Khan is leading the league in home runs with 5. Thor Herring does lead the league in strikeouts currently with 27. Look at this. We have the top 4 hit leaders in this season. Pete Wheeler's at the top, but Cameron Haynes is ahead of both Ahmed and Amir Khan with 11. I commented during the game that Cameron Haynes was having a great season so far, but I didn't know he was doing this good. He is literally second in the league in hits. So Cameron Haynes is looking like an early favorite for the Most Improved Player award.